Captain's Log, Stardate 6047.1. I have received a Code 47 communique from Starfleet instructing Farragut to divert to Cestus III. Speculation is running high among the crew as details of the mission remain locked in an encrypted file that Commander Tackett is currently decoding. Until then, we are on course for the former outpost. Mr. Thalen, what's our ETA for Cestus III?
At our present course and speed, we will arrive in 42.5 minutes.
Very good. Lieutenant Moretti, have we received any communications from the base?
Nothing, sir. Shall I try contacting them?
No, not until I know what's going on there. Continue to monitor. Mr. Prescott, tactical information on the base at Cestus III.
On the viewer, sir. On Stardate 3045.6, Captain Kirk and the Enterprise were lured in ambush there by the Gorn under false pretenses. The Gorn believed the Federation was violating their territory. Had it not been for the Metron's interference and Kirk's subsequent display of mercy toward the Gorn, things might be going a little differently now.
The Federation acknowledged its possible infringement in Gorn space and agreed to notify the Gorn of any further movements along the disputed border. We also agreed to vacate all outposts.
Except for Cestus III. In that regard, the Federation held its ground, insisting that it be allowed to maintain the sole outpost there.
And now we're headed for Cestus III. What are you saying? That it's more than coincidence?
Why would a destroyed outpost be that important to the Federation?
Recommendations?
We should remain on course per orders. However, upon entering the system, I strongly recommend orbital entry path Gamma 142.
Gamma 142. Using gravitational tides of a system's primary sun to mask possible enemy sensors. Why would I expect anything other than by the book from you?
For the very reason I've come to expect no less from you, sir.
Carter here.
Jack, I'm ready to brief the senior staff.
We'll meet you in the briefing room. Lieutenant Thalen, maintain course. Continue to keep me posted on our position.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Prescott, you're with me. Lieutenant Moretti, have Commander Smithfield meet us in the briefing room. Let me know if any messages are received from Cestus III.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Taylor, you have the con. Well, RT, I'm assuming Starfleet had good reason to encrypt the file.
You're right about that, Jack. Official records state Cestus III was established as an observation outpost, but its true purpose has been kept a secret, until now. While surveying the region, scientists detected a series of unusual time displacement signals approximately 10 kilometers above the planet's equator. Further investigation revealed it to be the endpoint of a wormhole.
A wormhole?
A time or temporal wormhole, to be exact.
When was it determined to be a temporal wormhole and not just an ordinary wormhole?
This is Dr. Tamar, one of Vulcan's most eminent scientists. His research revealed the wormhole to be a tunnel that has been opening cyclically from an endpoint around the turn of Earth's 21st century. As we all know, wormholes are extremely unstable, with endpoints that can fluctuate across both time and space. The scientists detected unusual energy readings at regular intervals of every 47 days, at which time the wormhole would open for 47 minutes and then collapse.
Energy readings such as those are sure to be picked up by long-range scanners.
Precisely. In an attempt to mask the burst, the scientists set up a series of energy-damping satellites around the wormhole location. The Gorn must have interpreted the satellites as a new weapon, so they attacked. Fortunately, the wormhole collapsed before the Gorn destroyed the outpost, leaving it undiscovered. Although their final objective was to close the wormhole permanently, to accomplish that, they must first stabilize it.
A stable gateway to Earth's past has the potential to be highly dangerous, not only to Earth's past but also to its future. We know this from our studies of the Guardian of Forever, and more so by our encounter with the Solanae.
Precisely why the Federation has kept the wormhole's existence and operation a secret. Its existence was even kept secret from Kirk.
I see only one possible way to stabilize the wormhole, by opening another. They have to be trying to artificially create a wormhole.
That's exactly what Tamara and his team are doing. An orbital platform with artificial wormhole generators was constructed around the point where the wormhole opens.
Wouldn't the power generated by this type of experiment be detected by the Gorn again?
The file states they have a Federation expert there addressing that issue. Apparently, this expert has access to a Romulan cloaking device.
Is there a contingency plan should the Gorn detect the wormhole?
Jack, your orders are specific. Take whatever steps necessary to ensure the wormhole does not fall into hostile hands, even at the expense of Dr. Tamar's team.
Let's hope it doesn't come down to that.
Captain, we're receiving a distress call from Cestus III.
Pipe it down here, Lieutenant.
To anyone receiving this message, this is Dr. Tamar. We are under attack by a Gorn ship, and our security screens are failing. An expeditious response is required if our operation is to survive. I will be...
We've lost the transmission. Heavy interference from the Gorn.
Lieutenant Taylor.
Taylor here, sir.
Increase speed to warp factor 8. Initiate orbital entry gamma 142 when in position.
Aye, Captain.
Mike, get down to engineering. I'm gonna need every ounce of energy from the warp drive.
You'll have it, Jack.
Mr. Thalen, how much longer to Cestus III?
At warp 8, we will arrive in 3 minutes.
We're on our way. Prepare for battle stations. Red alert. RT?
I have the wormhole on my scanner. Readings indicate it will remain active for another 40 minutes.
Mr. Taylor, have the Gorn detected us?
Well, if he has, he's not making any move towards our location, sir.
Put the orbital platform on the main viewer.
On screen, sir.
Jack, now detecting a shuttlecraft, decloaking behind us. It reads as the Copernicus.
Captain, the officer on board is requesting emergency beam out.
Transporter room. Beam that officer over from the Copernicus. Bring the shuttlecraft aboard.
I've already got him in transit and a tractor beam on the shuttle.
Good job, Chief.
And Captain, you won't believe who it is.
Have him join us on the bridge as soon as he's aboard.
Sir, Dr. Tamar is transmitting another message. It's directed to the Gorn ship.
Put it on the view screen, Lieutenant.
To the attacking Gorn ship, we are a research survey team. We pose no threat to you or your ship. Therefore, your attack upon us is not only unwarranted, completely illogical. I request you respond to my message immediately.
Try overriding the interference. I must speak to the Gorn.
Boosting our signal. The Gorn should be receiving us now.
Gorn ship. This is Captain John Carter of the USS Farragut. You are firing on a Federation survey team in direct violation of the current Federation Gorn Treaty. Break off. I repeat, break off your attack.
Good thing. For years I have waited again to battle the one named Kirk.
Captain, his scars. Do you see them? This must be the same Gorn the Metrons pitted against Captain Kirk.
Yes, the same. The scars from his crude weapon run deep. But not as deep as my failure to destroy him and the other invaders on Cestus III.
Captain, our respective governments resolved that incident. Let's not spoil the current negotiations.
Silence. We detected the time-controlling wormhole your survey team is hiding. We know the Federation plans to use it against the Gorn.
If the Gorn carry out what I believe they might...
Captain, wait. Listen to me.
Ironic that so close to the wormhole that manipulates time, you should run out of it.
Jack, they're firing the weapon directly into the wormhole.
What about the platform?
It's drawing it in as well.
Is it affecting the wormhole?
It's still functioning. Wait a minute. I'm detecting unusual waves of energy projecting from within it.
Emergency power to the shields. Brace for impact.
Bridge. Auxiliary powers kicking in.
Looks like Smithfield's on top of things.
Why wouldn't she be, lad? She's an engineer. Captain Carter, Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott, at your service.
Apologies, Mr. Scott. This isn't how I envisioned receiving you aboard Farragut.
Aye, but rather this way than not at all. You see, I was confronted with Dr. Tamara's logic, which dictated I escape with the cloaking device. And after some experience with another well-known stubborn Vulcan, I knew there was no winning the argument.
I'm glad you're here.
Captain, directly ahead. I've never seen anything like it. They're like bubbles.
First things first. RT, is the Gorn ship out there? And what about Mr. Taylor's bubbles?
Impossible to determine if he is, Jack. Sensors do indicate we are within a temporal void in space. I'm detecting thousands of these bubbles varying in size within it. A deep scan reveals within each bubble, time has seemed to have literally stopped.
What about the wormhole?
It's only conjecture at this point, but my guess would be the Gorn's weapon created a reaction within the wormhole, forcing it to remain open. Critical events from Earth's past are being extracted and isolated here. As long as it remains open, more of these time bubbles will appear.
When the Gorn captain said we'd run out of time, I do not think he planned this turn of events.
He may not have realized the full extent of his weapon. If he's out there, he's probably as much in the dark as we are.
Captain, the longer those critical moments remain isolated in our time period, the greater the odds of affecting Earth's history.
RT, we'll need to figure out a way to restore these bubbles back into Earth's natural timeline and close that wormhole. If we don't...
I know. I'll get right on it. Wait a minute. Detecting a human life sign on one of those bubbles. It's a female. She's wearing what I read as a radiation containment suit. Wait, she's not frozen in time like the rest. Her life signs are becoming unstable.
Mike, prepare for emergency beam-in.
Already on my way, Captain.
Captain, with your permission, I'd like to...
Go, Mr. Scott.
Now detecting a name on the suit. See? Renata. Jack, the bubble is losing its integrity. Unless we transport her over, she'll be dead within minutes.
I heard that, RT. It's too much of a coincidence. See, Renata has to be Carmen Renata. Jack, you must order her beamed aboard.
With all due respect, Captain, we know the disastrous effects of tampering with time. Beaming this person over could place billions of lives in jeopardy.
If Mike's correct about her being Carmen Renata, then you must beam her over. It's the only way to verify if she's already thrown the switch.
Switch? What switch?
I can't explain now. You'll just have to trust me.
Captain, I formally object. Regulation 35.47.
Objection noted. But I'm gonna have to go with RT on this. Mike, beam her aboard.
Transporting now.
Mike, report. What's happening?
Transporter signal failing. They're losing her.
Mike, report. Did you get her?
Yes, Jack. Thanks to Scotty's assistance.
Holly here, Captain. The subject's alive, but I have to get her to sickbay right away.
Captain's log, supplemental. RT has filled us in on the woman we rescued from the wormhole bubble. It seems she's the great-great-grandmother of our chief engineer, Michelle Smithfield.
Carmen Renata was a scientist at a private sector super collider facility. Late one night, there was a mishap. One of the collider's focusing magnets became misaligned.
Aye, I can already see what was about to happen.
Unfortunately, the misalignment caused a cascade effect, and the miniature wormhole began to form, causing explosions and general chaos. It's unclear as to how, but Renata was able to reach the shutdown button and thus prevent a further catastrophe from occurring. Regrettably, she died in the process.
The real question is, was she thrust into our time frame before or after she threw the switch?
In her condition, there was no way of knowing. Therefore, we had to beam her over.
I see. Then the captain's decision was indeed the most astute course of action.
Maybe so, but I'd appreciate your continued reminders of such possible consequences. Time paradoxes are a difficult subject to get one's head around.
In that case, I recommend Lieutenant Commander Smithfield not tell her ancestor too much about the future.
Normally, I'd agree. But given the circumstances of her impending death and our chances for survival, Mike will need to be as truthful with her as we expect her to be with us. I believe we owe Renata that much.
Captain, since we do have the cloaking device, I'd like your permission to see if I can integrate it into the Farragut shields. It may just come in handy.
Agreed, Mr. Scott. I trust you'll clear it with Mike. You know engineers.
Aye, indeed I do.
What an unusual amulet.
Thank you. It's actually a tool my great-grandfather made for my father. It's a very special tool, one I've carried with me always.
Doc Holly, she says you're going to be fine.
Thank you. For a while, I was kind of worried.
Look, I don't know of any good way to say this. There's something I think you should know about me.
But I already know all about you.
You do? I mean, what is it you know?
That you're the one who rescued me. You and that other, Scott fellow.
Oh, Mr. Scott. Yes, he's known among many as the Miracle Worker.
Speaking of miracles, a most unusual device, the one that snatched me from outer space. Oh, yes, I was cognizant of my surrounding while trapped out there. Which means this is either a highly sophisticated, top-secret prototype ship, or both you and it are from the future. In any event, I'd appreciate the truth.
Well, this ship is not a top-secret vessel. As for the truth, are you positive you'll be able to handle it?
I deal in facts, it's my job. So don't worry about me handling things, just get to it.
It seems you do ignite with a spark. Well then, Chispa, we've got a lot of ship to see, and not a lot of time to fill you in on the past few centuries.
Chispa? That's an Hispanic term only my closest friends and family call me.
I've located the Gorn ship. He's in no shape to do us any harm. Now detecting another vessel approaching. It reads as Endorian, although I don't recognize its configuration.
Sir, he's transmitting, but our universal translator is having trouble deciphering it.
Igna vestel, ukasta dentile. Igna vestel, ukasta dentile.
Captain, I recognize the language. It's a seldom used Andorian dialect. I believe I can adjust the translator to recognize his words.
Good. On screen.
This is Shaylar of the scout ship Cassian. Who are you and what is this temporal void that holds your strange ship within?
I'm Captain John Carter of the Federation starship Farragut.
Federation? Starship? Your words are unfamiliar to me, as is your species. I do not trust one with skin so pink. You, the one in front. You look to be of Aenar and Andorian descent. I will speak only to you.
You are correct about my ancestry. I am Thalen. Captain Carter is a human from the planet Earth.
Human? Earth? Again, your words have no meaning to me. Where is this Earth located?
It's the third planet in the Sol system. I am sending coordinates.
You lie. I have been to this system. There is no third planet at these coordinates, only an asteroid belt.
Do you have proof of this?
I do, Pink Skin. Safely filed away in my database.
We are in need of that information. We were attacked by the Gorn.
The Gorn? In this sector? We must leave here, immediately.
We cannot leave. Shaylar, as a brother Andorian, you are bound to assist another in need. Your files can help us. I insist that you transmit them now.
Very well. But I do so only because you are a brother Andorian.
I had the files.
Now, my brother Andorian, I'm leaving this sector. As it is disputed territory, I suggest you do the same. If you do not, you'll have more than the Gorn to be concerned with, especially if the Klingons or Romulans discover your presence.
RT, contact Scotty and have him meet us in the briefing room. We need to figure out what's going on here.
And Mike?
Not yet. I have a hunch that Mr. Prescott's timeline concerns are coming into play here. I don't want to overly concern Mike right now, or our guest.
The files indicate exactly what the Endorian said. The Earth was destroyed, and analysis indicates it happened a couple hundred years ago.
One can only assume, since we are unchanged, that the void we're in is protecting Farragut from changes in the timeline. But how long can we expect such protection?
I estimate we have less than 36 hours until the integrity of all the bubbles fail. Once that happens, we, along with everything in the void, will fade from existence.
Indications are the changes in the timeline were centered on the incident involving Renata.
If Renata was snatched from her timeline before the shutdown of the magnets could occur, then the wormhole must have expanded, causing Earth's orbit to shift.
If the Earth was destroyed in the 21st century, there would be no contact with the Vulcans, no Earth-Romulan war, and no Federation.
Our only chance is to somehow reverse the effects of the Gorn weaponry. Basically, put time back in its place.
Aren't you forgetting one thing, Captain?
Yes. Even if we come up with a way to correct the timeline, how do we ask the person we saved to willingly go back to die?
You overstate the problem, Captain. We simply send her back without revealing the outcome. This is a perfect example of the Vulcan axiom, the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. Or in this case, the one.
You rescued me! And now you want to send me to my death?
Carmen, wait!
Security.
Captain, that's not necessary. I'll bring her back. It's my responsibility.
Understood.
I couldn't tell her, Jack. I tried. I really tried.
I'm sorry she had to hear it that way, Mike. I know she's scared, but...
Scared? Damn right she's scared. I know sending her back is our only chance to set things straight, but do we really have the right to make that decision for her?
I believe the captain and the others are waiting for you. Let's go.
Why don't you just zap me with your ray gun and transport me back to the bubble? That'll show everyone how brave you are.
I recall Lieutenant Commander Smithfield saying you've been a hero to her. Maybe the time has come to show her she wasn't wrong.
Do you have a wife and kids, Prescott?
That's Commander Prescott.
Answer the question, Prescott.
No, I don't.
Sometimes we have to live for others.
Yes, and sometimes we have to die for them.
My husband died 7 years ago saving others in one of New York City's most horrific tragedies. Are you prepared to die for others as well?
Yes, I am. It's what I've trained for most of my life. Security Regulation number 47 states...
Is that all life is for you? A series of rules and regulations? Well, life is much more than that. It's something to be cherished and appreciated. But you don't have anybody to live for, so life has no meaning for you! I'm sorry. That wasn't fair, was it?
Your apology is unnecessary, but you aren't wrong.
Wrong? Wrong about what?
I do have a family, Miss Renata.
It's Carmen. But I thought...
This ship and her crew, they are my family. I may not be very good at expressing my feelings toward them.
Do you have a first name, Commander Prescott?
Henry.
Well, it's nice to finally meet you, Henry.
I apologize for our earlier comments. I guess they could make anyone try and escape.
She wasn't trying to escape, sir. I located her in the observation gallery. She was deep in thought.
Captain, I apologize for my behavior. I not only disgraced myself, I disgraced Mike.
No one holds you responsible. I know Mike quite well, and frankly, you could never disgrace her. She holds you in the highest regard.
She's quite an officer.
That she is. I can't tell you the number of times she saved our hides.
I suppose you're about to explain what Prescott said about the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the one. Captain, I know what's at stake, and I know what needs to be done, but I can't seem to find the courage to do it. I've never thought of myself as a coward.
You're no coward.
I envy you brave heroes in space, going out on missions knowing that you could conceivably die, unafraid to meet death.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm just like you. Each time I go out, I'm afraid. But I've trained myself to respond in the situation, knowing it must be done. Can we count on you?
Captain, you'll have my answer. But first I need to talk to Mike.
I understand. She's in engineering.
Captain, as head of security, I believe it is my responsibility to take Renata's place in the bubble. Respectfully request permission to prepare to transport.
That's admirable, Mr. Prescott. But she hasn't refused going back just yet.
Sir, she's a scientist. She hasn't been trained like we have. She shouldn't have to give up her life for us.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you cared about her.
I care about doing what is necessary.
Very well. I'll give your request serious consideration, if the circumstances dictate it. Carter here.
Captain, the Gorn ship is now within sensor range. It'll be at our position within minutes.
On my way. Mr. Scott, the cloaking device, is it ready for activation?
Aye, she's ready, but she was severely damaged. There's no way of knowing if she'll function properly.
Captain, we have another problem. Romulan bird of prey decloaking off the port side.
Mr. Scott, activate the cloaking device now.
It's no good, Captain.
Prepare to be destroyed.
Silence! The Gorn have no right to this space. If anyone destroys these invaders, it will be the Romulans.
We do not fear Romulans. Leave or suffer the fate of these Girthlings.
Mr. Taylor, back us out of here. Maybe their fighting can buy us some time. What about it, RT? Can we get these time bubbles back into the wormhole?
I've modified a photon torpedo to initiate a reverse cascade effect on the bubbles. Its energy signal should attract them, driving them back into the wormhole and closing it once and for all. I call it my Pied Piper Pacer.
I don't care what you call it, as long as it works. Be ready to fire it on my command.
Sir, the Gorn ship, it's broken away. He's firing at us.
Engineering, we need that cloaking device to maneuver in a position to fire RT's torpedo.
Captain, shield strength down 30%, decreasing rapidly.
Engineering, report! Mr. Prescott, get down to engineering.
Mike, I can't let go. If I do, we'll lose the device. Just a wee bit more power and it'll be working.
I can't route power through these damaged circuits. Shields are failing.
Use an isolinear power module. Mike! I'm trapped. I can't get it.
Mike, we need that cloaking device online quickly, or we're all dead.
The top slot. Push it in and activate the button.
It won't stay in!
Then you'll have to hold it in manually.
My amulet!
Aye, that's doing it, lassie. Sir, the cloaking device. It's activated. We're becoming invisible.
This is impossible.
Mr. Taylor, move us away from here and back to our original position.
The combined Romulan weapons fire has taken out the Gorn permanently.
Nice job, Mike. Mike?
Captain, the fire and engineering has been extinguished. But you need to get down here as fast as you can.
Did I get it right?
Aye, lassie. The ship's out of danger.
Gentlemen, it's time. Mr. Prescott?
No. Captain, I can't allow someone else to sacrifice their life to carry out what I was destined to do. Henry, I won't let you do this.
Carmen, I can't let you go like this.
You're in pretty bad shape. You may not have the strength to go back.
Captain, I responded here. I'll respond there. Believe me, Captain, nothing will stop me.
Very well, Miss Renata.
Please, I have to take it with me.
But it's damaged, merged together with 23rd century metal.
As am I. But as far as I'm concerned right now, we're both looking pretty damn good.
Let's get her to the transporter room.
Mike, I'd be honored if you'd let me operate the transporter.
Thanks, Scotty, but this is something I have to do.
Aye, I should have known better. After all, you are an engineer.
Goodbye, Henry. Thank you.
RT, prepare to launch the torpedo on my command. Transporter room. Mike, transport when ready.
I knew you would save us.
No, Mike. It's you that saved me.
Do you think she made it?
It does appear the wormhole is closed.
Captain, the Romulan ships. They've disappeared. And the stars, they're back.
Contact with Starfleet.
USS Hood reporting in.
Azrael, proceed to the Chorus system.
Acknowledged. Calling Captain Larry Nemechek.
What about the Gorn ship?
He is still there and still very much disabled. Hold on. I'm now reading 3 more Gorn ships approaching.
Sir, they're hailing us.
On screen, Lieutenant.
Captain Carter, I am here to tow the captain's vessel to Gorn space. His actions here were not authorized nor sanctioned by the Gorn hegemony. In the interest of maintaining the treaty, he will be dealt with accordingly. Do not attempt to interfere with my mission.
I understand.
Good. Then you will also understand when I say that it would be best not to find you here when I return.
Not the best of send-offs, but I think he made his point.
It seems your great-great-grandmother was a hero, not only in her time, but in ours.
Hearing that means a lot, especially from one of Enterprise's best. I suppose you're a wee bit homesick for the old gal. Raring to get back to her?
Aye, indeed I am. But before I go...
What's this, Scotty?
It's what's left of the isolinear module that Renata used to save the ship.
I was hoping we'd recover it.
They match. But Carmen took it with her. How did you come by it?
It was discovered in her hand the day she died. It's been passed down from generation to generation in the Renata family. Mind-boggling, isn't it? That a piece of metal originating from our time would fuse with a piece of metal from her time, then travel back with her to eventually wind up here again.
I feel another time headache coming on.
After all these years, or minutes, depending on one's point of view, it appears the 2 pieces will finally be together again.
No, I feel they're not meant to be together. Rather, I believe Carmen would want me to keep this new piece, to hand down to my descendants.
Well, what about her amulet? You're not keeping it as well?
No, there's someone who needs it more. I know she'd want you to have it.
Well, Mr. Prescott, you can rest easy now. It would appear Carmen's interaction here has left no detrimental changes in the timeline. It seems everyone was unaffected by her presence.
Yes, sir. It does seem that way for everyone. Almost everyone.